Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an incredibly fascinating narrative from our source channel. We're going to explore the awe-inspiring life of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, who's historically revered as Ghous-e-Azam. We'll be uncovering the deep spiritual lessons, the intense, almost unbelievable discipline, and the profound mysticism behind his legendary miracles. So let's jump right in, shall we? So how exactly does a man bring a sunken ship back to the surface? Well, let's get right into this gripping story. The source describes this moment where the sheikh is just walking by the Tigris River and he comes across a 90-year-old mother. She's weeping, just inconsolably, right there on the riverbank. And why? Because years ago, on her only son's wedding day, his boat capsized in this exact river. She's been mourning the drowning of her son and his bride ever since, coming back to these waters every single day. And what happens next? It's honestly one of the most famous displays of spiritual authority in history. Section 1. The Miracle of the Ship. The source recounts how the sheikh was moved to deep pity. He prostrated in prayer, and then, miraculously, he raised that fully intact ship right from the depths, returning the entire wedding party completely unharmed. Absolutely wild, right? And that brings us to Section 2, Battle with the Jinn. You see, this narrative doesn't just focus on those grand, public miracles. It also gets into the intense, really intimate spiritual warfare happening behind closed doors. Just picture this terrifying sensory detail described by the source. The sheikh is praying in a mosque, completely immersed in his devotion. Suddenly, a giant, highly venomous snake creeps into his clothes. It literally slithers up through his sleeves and coils itself tightly around his neck, right where he's the most vulnerable. Now, any normal person would break their prayer in sheer terror, right? I know I would. Yet the sheikh, he remains entirely unfazed. He calmly finishes his prayer like nothing is even happening, treating this deadly creature like it's just a pesky insect. And this brilliantly illustrates the real battle going on here. The snake drops to the floor and actually transforms into a defeated jinn. This entity confessed to using specific tactics that had successfully ruined other scholars. We're talking things like instilling pride, creating doubt in their sustenance, causing impatience during hardship, or injecting hypocrisy right into their worship. But against the sheikh's unbreakable steadfastness, literally every single one of those tactics completely failed. The source describes how this defeated entity, now appearing as a dark-faced frail man, surrendered entirely to the sheikh. He just flat out admitted his complete inability to break the saint's connection to the divine, and ultimately, this demonic force actually converted to Islam right then and there at the sheikh's hands. Just think about that level of unshakable focus for a second. He literally wore out a demonic force simply by ignoring it and staying completely devoted. It's a real game changer. Now, following this wild encounter, he didn't brag, not at all. Instead, he gave his followers a masterclass. He laid out a clear, practical formula to defeat temptation and spiritual attacks in their own lives. He told them to earn halal, or permissible sustenance, actively avoid showing off, perform daily introspection, and constantly seek steadfastness from God. It's a highly structured, step-by-step guides to maintaining a pure heart that anyone can apply. Moving on to Section 3, Command over Nature. So these next accounts build into this extraordinary anthology of everyday miracles where the natural world itself seemed to just bend to his authority. The crucial takeaway here is the continuous provision he facilitated for his community. For instance, the source notes he revived dead date palm trees that hadn't borne fruit in 4 years. Just a simple prayer and boom, they were green and fruitful within a week. Or during a harsh famine, he gave a starving family a single vessel of wheat. He told them to take the grain out through a small hole without fully opening it, and miraculously, that wheat lasted for 5 uninterrupted years to feed them. 5 years! The channel also shares these breathtaking visual miracles. On one occasion, to show a seeker a sign, he planted his wooden staff into the ground, and get this, it radiated blinding light, like the sun, for an entire hour. On another occasion, when the wildly flooding Tigris River threatened to literally drown Baghdad, he simply walked to the bank, struck his cane into the soil, and commanded the waters to halt. The floodwaters immediately receded. All right, let's look at Section 4, Tests of Knowledge. Naturally, with this immense following and these incredible stories, he started attracting the attention of worldly rulers and skeptical scholars. They all wanted to test his spiritual authority. The source uses a really vivid comparison of out-of-season apples to illustrate a massive spiritual concept here. So, an unjust ruler asks for a miracle, and the sheikh materializes 2 apples out of thin air. He hands one to the ruler and keeps the other. When broken open, the sheikh's apple is perfectly white, fragrant, and pure. But the ruler's apple, it's completely rotten and infested with a worm. The sheikh explains that the ruler's oppressive, unjust hands had literally corrupted the fruit the very moment he touched it. In an even more chilling recounting, an unjust caliph tried to win the sheikh's favor by offering him 10 bags of gold. The sheikh refused, but the ruler just kept insisting. So the sheikh grabbed 2 of the bags and squeezed them. According to the source, actual blood began to drip out of the gold. No way, right? He sternly rebukes the ruler, telling him he was literally squeezing the blood out of his oppressed people to build his wealth. It's an ancient metaphor brought to life, a terrifyingly direct, face-to-face confrontation of political corruption that very few would ever dare to attempt. This leads us perfectly to Section 5, a life of devotion. To truly grasp these supernatural accounts, we really have to look at who this man was when nobody was looking. You see, the miracles weren't just magic tricks, they were the byproduct of extreme personal discipline and unimaginable humility. According to the text, the foundation of his spiritual power was this intense regime of worship. It's reported that for an astonishing 40 years, he spent his nights praying while standing on just one leg, reciting massive portions of the Quran until morning. 40 years, that is some serious dedication. His daily habits reveal an absolute detachment from worldly desires. Even as thousands flocked to him bringing massive wealth, sometimes up to 1,000 dinars a single day, he made sure to give away every single coin to the poor by evening. He ate only the simplest foods, just a few plain breads, strictly avoiding luxuries like meat and ghee. And every single day he would change his clothes for one specific reason, just so he could immediately give his garments away to the destitute. He served the poor relentlessly. And that brings us to Section 6, the saint's final days. As we look at the culmination of his incredibly impactful life, notice the immense preparation required. He spent 25 years in complete isolation in the harsh Iraqi jungles. In today's modern world of constant distraction, just think about what a quarter-century of rigorous solitude and devotion does to a person's mind and spirit. That was the crucible that transformed him before he spent the final 40 years of his life guiding and reforming the masses in Baghdad. Before he passed away at the age of 90 or 91 in the year 561 Hijri, he left his sons with these incredibly powerful final words. He urged them to rely entirely on God, telling them, "My heart is sound with Allah, so nothing is ever empty for me." He maintained this state of pure, unwavering devotion right up until his very last breath. As this explainer wraps up, the source invites us to reflect on a profound question. What truly made Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani great? Was it the astonishing supernatural miracles that captivated thousands? Or was it the unshakable, humble, grueling connection to the divine, practiced in total isolation and utter selflessness, that actually fueled those miracles? It's something deeply powerful to think about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep questioning what lies beneath the surface of the extraordinary.